First, I'm going to talk about this, the Twitter presidency. It's in full force already in the new year. Mr. Trump's latest about General Motors. Here's the quote. GM is sending Mexican-made model of Chevy Cruze to U.S. car dealers tax-free across the border. Make in USA or pay big border tax. Clearly, that was a warning shot across the bows of General Motors. Then, GM released this statement moments ago. General Motors manufactures the Chevrolet Cruze sedan in Lordstown, Ohio. All Chevy Cruze sedans sold in the U.S. are built in GM's assembly plant in Lordstown, Ohio. GM builds the Chevy Cruze hatchback for global markets in Mexico, with a small number sold in the U.S. Trump guy Steve Cortes is here. Seems like Mr. Trump got that one factually wrong. I think he's got some egg on his face for that. But nonetheless, I read it as a warning shot across the bows of all those companies that make over there and try to sell tax-free here. How do you see it?
Right, Stuart, I concur. You know, maybe he got some of the details there wrong. It seems as though he did. But the bigger point, I don't think Americans care a lot about the weeds there. I think what they care about is the big picture scenario, which is that we have some trade deals that are simply not smart and that are not fair to the American worker. That's going to change. It's going to change quickly. It's going to change in weeks, not in months or years. And I think, secondly, that we need to make sure that there's both carrot and stick, that the carrot for American companies and for investment is that we have the best business climate we can possibly have in this country. Low taxes, sensible regulation. But then there's also going to be some stick. If you think that without any consequence, if American managers think that they can produce overseas and then sell freely back into this country, Donald Trump was elected on a populist vision that says that is not in the best interest of the American worker.
Well, he's off and he's running and he's tweeting up a storm. But I want to ask you this. In about, 26 minutes, we're going to have a triple-digit rally on Wall Street, going to carry the Dow up 120, maybe 130 points. How much further can the rally go? What say you? You're a money guy.
You know, Stuart, yes, I think it can go a long way. And if I can combine my political partisan hat with my Wall Street trader hat, I think that Donald Trump's messages are not just good news for Main Street. They are also good news for Wall Street. And I know it was annoying in those last few weeks that we couldn't quite print 20,000 on the Dow. It was at least annoying to those in business media. I think we're going to print it, and quickly, maybe even today, if not today, then in very short order. But what I'm even more enthused about for most regular Americans is not even so much the Dow, it's the small caps. If you look at the IWM, Russell 2000, which is more indicative of our domestic economy. Most of those companies are not global players, they're U.S. domestic players, and that has been rallying even more since the election than have the S&P 500 and the Dow Industrial Average. So I want them all to rise, but I'm most enthused about small caps because of what that means for Main Street America.
Okay.